All right, well, howdy everyone. Welcome back to Ionan's Edge. I'm here with a surprising review of a Walmart knife. Walmart Online, to be exact. This is Swisstek's Gerundet. Yep, this is a Walmart knife in Aussate steel from Swisstek. It comes in a pretty cool box. As you can see, Aussate steel, ceramic ball bearings, carbon fiber, and aluminum low profile back flipper. It says designed in USA, made in China, of course. But this is the box you get with it. Pretty spiffy for a Chinese-made knife. They even give you a tip protector on it, which is pretty funny. But a lot of box for a pretty inexpensive budget knife. Basic specs on this, I just mentioned, it's got Aussate steel. It is using a gray titanium coating or finish on it on a flat grind. It's a reverse tanto. You've got full stainless liners, ceramic ball bearings, aluminum nest scales sandwiched over the liners, and real carbon fiber inlays on both sides of the knife. It does have a spring metal deep carry pocket clip, and you're only going to see about that much of the knife sticking out when you're carrying it. So not bad. Pretty good. We have a usable cutting edge on this knife of 3 inches plus a small sharpening choil at the back. We've got a scale length of 4 1/4 and a tip to tail length of 7 1/4. The weight of this knife was 3.2 ounces on my digital scale. Again, really not a bad looking knife, right? So let's talk about the things I like. So first of all, this knife was a surprise to me. I saw it on Walmart's online store. I said, hey, that's pretty cool looking. It's in Aussate steel. Let's see how the Aussate steel works for me. I'm going to order this knife. It is, when I tell you the price, you'll be surprised at what this thing actually costs. I ordered it thinking, I'm going to be first in on this thing, and the day that it arrived here at my house, Bees Blades did a review on some new Walmart knives, and this was one of the ones he showed off. So it does come in another colorway as well, but I thought this gunmetal gray with the carbon fiber and the titanium gray coating was the better looking knife of the two. The other one is more brighter, but a little more garish looking. And there's the little Aussate for the steel. So I got it in, and I have to say, it's a pretty well made knife. It has really good fit and finish. The action on this thing is drop shutty. The blade came centered. It fires out there really nice. Drops shut beautifully because it's on ceramic ball bearings. The lockup on it is really good, and then, believe it or not, there's no lash in this blade at all, and there's no play here. So, I mean, thumbs up, 2 thumbs up to them for creating a knife that seems to be, as far as fit and finish wise, pretty darn well made. I dig it. It's got simple but functional ergos, right? So obviously it's a very straight, simplistic design. So there's plenty of room here right behind where the flipper tab ends to get your hand in there. And look, I have large glove-sized hands, pretty wide palms, but normal-sized fingers. And you can see how there's still more room back here, the way they did this lanyard loop coming straight off the back, that I literally could put a whole nother finger back there in this position. So that's good. No jimping on the knife, but this is not designed to be a hard use knife, right? This is an office type of knife, or more of a gentleman's carry type of knife that you could use for some basic cutting tasks, right? Good blade length, right? However you decide to use this. So I like that as well. It did a pretty good job of cutting. I have cut a fair amount of stuff with this knife already. I just put a few drops of oil on it, wiped the blade down. You can't really tell. There's no real marks or scratches on this. After I cut through some cardboard, I whittled down some shavings on a 2x4, which is one of my tests. I do some kind of fine shaving to see if I could, shave down some fire starter shavings, things like that, if I really needed to. Cut a few tie wraps. And the knife still has a really good edge on it. I didn't even have to strop it yet. So I think the heat treat on the blade is at least pretty good. There's no information on what the HRC is on the knife, but based on how the edge held up, doing some pretty normal cutting tasks, I would say whoever OEM the knife did a pretty good job on the heat treat. So overall, it's a really good, solid little knife, and it has real carbon fiber inlays. They don't feel like plastic or anything. They feel like they're actually made out of real carbon fiber. So I have to say kudos for that as well, if in fact that's the case. Is it G10 under there with carbon fiber laid over? Could be. I don't know. But at this price point, I'm not really going to, worry too much about that. So are there any issues or dislikes with the knife? So I have to tell you, it's a sub $30 knife. You can have this knife delivered to your house from Walmart online for less than 30 bucks. With that being said, there's really no issues with this knife for what its intended use is. But I will note that the pocket clip spring steel is a little on the weak side. Okay, it goes in and out of your pocket pretty good. I didn't have any trouble with losing it or having it come out of my pocket, but this is about as weak as I would want the spring steel on a clip to be. If you're not using it for heavy duty stuff, I think it would be fine, obviously. But I do have to note that in my review, it's a little on the weak side as far as retention goes. And then this nicely red anodized rear piece does add extra room for larger fingers. It's supposed to be a lanyard loop, but I don't know. It's a little bit smallish looking, as you can see, whether people who are lanyard fans would be able to get a normal sized piece of paracord or something like that in there. Smaller paracord, no doubt that would absolutely fit for sure. But again, just a couple of little tiny things I noticed about it. Other than that, the knife meets all the basic fit and finish and design elements that you would expect in more well-known brands. So let's do a couple size comps. So here we go with the Gerundet. First knife I'm going to throw out here is the CJRB Rhea, another gentleman's carry pocket knife. A little less blade length, similar handle size, definitely a thinner knife and a much more of a gentleman's knife, but still it is in the same basic size category as the Gerundet or Gerundet. Another one here, the Civivi Knox, also a little titanium gentleman's carry. You can see similar size, similar blade style, a little bit more blade, actual usable blade length on this because this has this little mini choil on the front of it. A little bit more handle length here. If you have bigger hands, you probably would prefer this, but obviously it's not on the same level as a hollow ground Civivi Knox. And then finally a knife that I carry a lot, and I think this is comparable to, so this is the Best Tech Todd Knife and Tool Syntax. Now obviously this is in a kind of Wharncliffe, but a reverse tantoed Wharncliffe at the same time. I guess you'd call it a reverse tanto. And they're similar, right? Look at tip length, almost identical. Back length, very similar. This is a thicker knife, ever so slightly thicker knife with a bigger pocket clip and a stronger pocket clip on it. But I would say these two knives are very, very similar in their overall size and carryability. Obviously, the Best Tech's a lot more well-known name, and this does have 14C28N steel on it instead of AUS 8. But that does give you an idea, size-wise, of what it's like to carry one of these, and there you go. So let me summarize for you guys. This knife was around $28 through Walmart online, shipped to my house. It is a very solid and affordable knife. The fit and finish is good. It carries well, although it does have a slightly bit of a weak pocket clip as far as tension goes. It has decent steel in AUS 8, and the knife actually looks and handles great. If you're looking for a budget knife and this knife appeals to you, if this style of knife appeals to you, I would have no reservations about telling someone, hey, go ahead and give one of these a shot. So that's what I got for you today. Thanks for watching as always, and stay sharp, folks.